Okay, to reiterate, we now have applied labels and ratings with stars, and I've shown you over here we can sort by the label. And if we, for some reason, wanted the green labels first, to flip this, to the right of it, there's an arrow, ascending order, descending, so you can flip the order that they come in. We can also sort by rating. So we have no stars, 1, 2, all the way up to 5. And if we wanted to start with our 5 stars, we just click on this arrow to flip them around there. So here we are sorting by one or the other. What if we wanted to be more specific and we wanted to sort by, let's go, only our animal pictures that have 3 stars or higher. So how we do that is we come over to this filter panel that's over here on the left, and whatever category we wanted, we would put a check mark. So if we said we only want to see our animals, we're going to check the yellow animals, and that shows us what's available. And then we're going to say, I only want to see animal pictures that are 4 or 5 stars. Notice the dog went away. The snake and the tiger are 4 or 5 stars. If you only wanted to see 5-star ratings, you would just uncheck that one. Make sure that only the 5-star check is showing. So if we wanted to see all the animals and all the landscapes, but only the 3-star pictures, there they are. If we wanted to see 3 and above, so 4 stars and 5 stars, we would check those as well. So by using this panel over here, we can sort even deeper than we can in a single sort up here at the top left. So the next thing that we're going to do is keywords. And by default, your window is probably set up to have the metadata tab open first, but notice to the right of it is keywords. And I'm going to twirl these shut and just show you that what comes by default is events, people, and places. I've already played around with this and I've made a GOAT category. When you twirl these little arrows open, you see more events underneath. So maybe it's a birthday, a graduation, a trip, or a wedding. Under people, maybe it's celebrities, somebody named Matthew, somebody named Ryan. Under places, we have everything from the Vilas Zoo to Paris. So obviously these categories, you can add to them and you can add subcategories. So you don't have to stick with just what we see here. Let's start. So our 4 different labels were people. So we already have people. None of these exactly fit. So our people photos are the blue ones over here. So let's just sort by our label. And we can see that we have 2 people pictures. Just for complete simplicity, I'm going to do subcategories of male and female, two separate ones. So start in the keyword panel by highlighting the main keyword of people, and then down at the bottom right, you're going to see an icon that's an indented arrow with a plus. And if you hover, it will say add a new sub-keyword. So click on that. Notice it's indented within people, and we're going to say male and hit return. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to hit this button again, and I'm going to click on it for a plus, and whoops, that made a subcategory of the male. I did not want to do that. Go back up, click away from that if that happened to you too. Go back and highlight people. We need to highlight the main category before we hit a subcategory, otherwise you see what it was going to do. So we also want to make a sub-keyword of female. All right, so that covers our people. Let's go and look at our next topic. I'm going to pop over here, which was landscapes. Notice that's not an option, so we need to create a brand new category here, not a subcategory. To do that, all we do is click on the big plus sign down here at the bottom, a new keyword. And darn it, again, I was under the people and that's why it happened. I don't want to do that. Make sure you have nothing highlighted here and click on the plus sign. Now you can see I have a new keyword category that I'm ready to make, and I'm going to call this landscapes. Inside of that, I'm going to make subcategories. So with that highlighted, I'm going to come down, I'm going to click on the subcategory button, and I'm going to make one called flowers. And then make sure that you highlight the main thing, again, landscape, before you go and hit a new subcategory. Lakes. And I'm going to make one more subcategory of landscape called trees. Okay, so now I have a category of landscapes. We also made a color-coded item for animals, and I don't see that here as an option. So with nothing selected, make sure there's nothing in light gray. Click down here in the empty zone to deselect. Come down to the plus sign, and we're going to make a keyword category of animals. And with that highlighted, we're going to make subcategories of dog. And this is just what I know I have in these pictures, not going to cover the world. A subcategory of tiger and a subcategory of snake. And I'm even going to add one of a bird, because I did see a bird in one of these pictures. So there's our 4 keywords that could relate to animals. So we have animals, landscape, people. Our last color tab over here was vehicles. So again, nothing should be highlighted. Come down and click on the plus sign. And, oops, gotta spell vehicles right. Okay, there's our category of vehicles. With it highlighted, we're going to add subcategory of, let's see, car. And I'm going to make another subcategory of a semi. And I'm going to make one of motorcycle. And I'm going to make a subcategory of boats. Now, if you wanted to make subcategories of cars to be sports cars, minivans, trucks, whatever, maybe let's keep it in the car family. Sports car, 2 doors, 4 doors, whatever. You could make subcategories of that as well. You don't need to go crazy on this, you just need to make it work for you or your businesses or organization's system that they're going to use. All right, so we now have a bunch of keywords and sub-keywords available to us. I'm going to twirl open the animals, the landscapes, the people, and the vehicles, because those are the 4 versions that we have going right now. All right. We now are going to apply these to some pictures. So let's start up with this picture of the car. So I'm going to want to, with it selected, and since all 3 of these are vehicles, I'm going to shift click to get all 3 of them. And all 3 of them, I'm going to come down and I'm going to click on the checkbox in front of vehicles. That now put that keyword with all 3 of those. Then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to click somewhere down here at the bottom where it's empty to deselect those. And these 2, in my opinion, are just plain cars. So I'm also going to have the tag of car, the keyword of car, applied to them. Then I'm just going to single select the semi, and I'm going to come down here, and it's, yes, it's a vehicle, but it's specifically a semi. And we're done with that group. Then I'm going to come to the 2 people pictures we have, select both of those, and I'm going to give them the checkbox of people. Then I'm just going to go to the one of, I think that's Kira Knightley or whatever her name is. So I'm going to give her female. I happen to have a tag of celebrity. It was there from before, so in reality, you don't have that tag, nor do you need to, but I would probably say, yep, she's a celebrity. Then I would come to the picture of the men, and I would say, this is males. And if 2 of these people happen to be Matthew and Ryan, I would also say Matthew and Ryan are in this picture. You probably don't have those options, so I'm going to take them off. Another thing I see in here is a motorcycle, so I'm going to come down and check that. All right, let's go to our landscapes. Anything that has water or a lake, I'm going to command select. So there are 4 of them that are specifically lakes. So I'll come down here. Probably before I did that, to stay consistent, I should have selected all of the reds. So I'll start here, hold down Shift and click on the last red. All of these are landscapes, and we can click to give them that general keyword right here. Then this one and this one, in my opinion, are also trees. So I'll probably come in here and I'll check on trees. This one, whoops, gotta use the command because they're not touching. This one, command click, command click, command click. These all are flowers. This one I've already done as a lake. Flower, lake. Nope, that one isn't tagged with a lake for some reason. I missed that one. So I'm going to make that a lake. And I'm also going to do boats because we have an option of boats. So I'll come down here and click on the keyword of boats. And then finally, let's grab our 3 animal pictures and give them the overall keyword of animals. And then individually, this is a tiger. This one is a dog, and this one is a snake. The picture that had the bird in it was this lake picture up here. So if I wanted to go back to that one and tag it with a bird, I could do that as well. So we have now assigned keywords and sub-keywords. So the cool thing we can do now, and I would recommend that you have your content panel wide enough or your thumbnails small enough so that you can see all of these pictures in one view. Get a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, now let's come over to our filter panel and say, you know what, I'm looking for lake pictures. Well, we're very specific. We can go all the way down to the point of finding a keyword for lakes. And here's all 5 pictures that show up for lakes. Notice they all happen to be landscapes. That was already a given, but you know what? I gotta find a good one. Do I have any that are just 5 stars? I do. That is the one that I tagged as a landscape, 5-star, and lakes. I don't even need to choose the overall broad category, but I could have. Now, you need to uncheck these before you move on. That gives you everything again. So what if I wanted to find people pictures that had female celebrities? Because I tagged that, there's one picture that is a female, one that is a celebrity, and these are cumulative. It has to have all of these things in it. Let's uncheck all of these. And let's say I want to find a landscape picture that is flowers, and again that I really like, so it has to be a 4 or 5-star picture. Just this one shows up. That helps you isolate. So you can see the power of using labels, ratings, and keywords. Let's just twirl these shut so they don't take quite as much room and look at some other options we have. Date created, date time original, orientation. 16 of these pictures are landscape, 4 are portrait, but they're not in the search right now. Let's say we wanted to find something based on the aperture value. That means when the picture was taken, what aperture was the camera set on, and a low aperture number usually means that there's blur in the picture, meaning the foreground is clear but the background is blurred, something like that. So if I wanted to find a picture that had some blur, I would go with a low aperture. If I wanted to find something that was not, I would choose other options. Now, I'm noticing I'm only seeing my red photos, which leads me to believe I didn't uncheck that, and I didn't. And I wonder, yep, that's all unchecked. So now when I choose this, and I say, show me orientation, The ones that are portrait mode, meaning tall, here's the 2. Notice that's our stack of dogs. There's really 3 pictures there. Or if I wanted to just see landscape, the ones that are wide, left to right, I could choose that option. I can choose by aperture, if you wanted to, for whatever reason. Focal length, only show me those that are focal length of 16.2. This doesn't make much sense right now, but I think you understand the power of the sorting here. So that's one way of going about it. And again, because I'm only seeing one picture here, I know that I have not cleared out all of my check marks. And I got to figure out which one it is that I still have checked. There it is, that focal length. Okay, with all of those cleared out, I can see all of my pictures again. If you forget what you've done, you can always come over to this stacked menu, these 3 lines, and you can see clear all. So that clears all of these out. So what we saw here was cumulative. I'm going to go back to this image, and I'm going to also apply, just as a demo, Matthew and Ryan. They're both in this picture. And then just for fun, I'm going to say that in this picture, Matthew is in the truck somehow, and we can see him. And I did that for a reason that I want to show you in an expanded search. So if you want to be more specific and have control, not just and this must be included, maybe an or. I want to see all the pictures of men with Ryan, but not with Matthew, something like that. To do that, we can go to the Edit menu and choose Find, which is also a shortcut of Command F. When this comes up, we have 3 areas that we need to set: source, criteria, and results. So the source is what folder are we looking in that you want us to sort through, and that's the folder that we're in called Pictures for Bridge. If you wanted to change that, you'd have to navigate through here. But the source is this folder called Pictures for Bridge. Then let's say we want to find by label. So we want to find, let's do people. So the label contains, and in here I'm going to type in people, and you have to type this in. So if you spell it wrong, or if you made it plural, like down here I have landscapes, plural, but up here if I only type landscape, it would not work. So I want to find anything that contains the label of people and has a keyword of, let's see, Matthew. And I want you to show me everything that results if all of the criteria are met. The other option is if any one is met. So let's start with the anyone is met and say find. Okay, this found me people and Matthew, but that's not quite what I was looking for. I was looking for specifically, so I need to clear that out and say only show it to me if all of the criteria were met. It's people and Matthew. So I'll do that and say find, and only one shows up. Do a new search. Let me find something that has a keyword of boats. Was it plural? I have to look down here. Yep, boats. That has boats and has a keyword of birds. Nope. What did I do there? Cancel. Start new search. Keyword contains boats. Oh, there isn't one that contains boats and birds. There's one that contains lakes and birds. Yes, there is. See, isn't this fun when you see me struggle too? Let me go back and clear this out. Did I not say that this one is a lake and a bird? Oh, not plural. There's the trick. Bird, lakes. So when I do my special find, Command F, lakes is plural, birds is not. You got to be very careful here. Find. There it is. There's my one picture that is lakes and bird. Really should have been plural, but you know what I mean. So this is how powerful this can be. You can find it if it contains all or just one topic. So I encourage you to play around with this a little bit, add some more keywords and sub-keywords, and really try to make this work for you in a powerful way. A client says, I want something with water and some trees in the foreground, and you go, oh shoot, I know I have that. Let me look. I'll go under Find. Keywords are lakes. Let's make sure I have this right. Lakes and trees. It's plural. I'm going to change this to trees. Oh, there's two pictures that I have. So this is the power of using bridge, labels, ratings, and keywords to your advantage. And it's really important that you get good at this if you want to speed up your workflow. The last tab that I want to mention before I close out this part of the lecture, first of all, I'm going to clear out this search here by clicking on the X button to get everything back. We've been in keywords, this metadata option. Again, no files are selected. So if we would choose this tiger, this is a great example in the metadata. This tells you what was set up and what we know about this picture based on what was recorded with it. So the thing that we can see here, the date that this was created was August 10th, 2006 at 2:53 in the afternoon. It was modified today because I'm looking at it. This file is only 504 pixels wide by 438, so it's a relatively small file. It's RGB, which is a color mode. We're going to learn about that later. And then I'm just going to twirl these open and show you some information. Because we tagged this with keywords animals and tiger, that goes along with it from now on. And you can see over to the right, there's a little edit or a little pencil. You can always click on that to edit it or change things. So this is what we have in the IPTC core tab. Don't need that one. The camera data, for some reason none of this is recorded, but if you pull in a picture off of your digital camera, and I'll try another one here in a second, you're going to get all the data about the camera. The GPS, if it's taken with a camera that has GPS built in, it will tell you the longitude and latitude and altitude of where that photo was taken. So you could actually, pinpoint it to a specific mountain in Switzerland, for example. If it's an audio file, you have a bunch of options you can add here. Same with the video file. And DICOM, just so you know, has to do with the medical community. It's a way of keywording and tagging things, so that's not one you're going to use much either. The ones I see you using definitely are file properties, the IPTC core, where you can go back and see the keywords, and the camera data. So let me see if I can find a picture. Kind of hoping that this one, yep, here we go. This picture of the daylilies, which is a teeny tiny 200 pixel image, does have the information from the camera. So when this person took this photo, it was set in auto mode. Their lens was out at a 16.2 millimeter extension. The aperture of the either the max aperture at that point or the aperture it was taken at was 4.8. Up here we see the exacts for this, so I'm going to say that 4.8 was the aperture of this shot. It tells you if a flash went off, it tells you what it was shot with. In this case, a Canon PowerShot A75. So if you have multiple cameras, you'll even know which camera you shot this with. Up at the top in these two squares are the quick data, the f-stop, the shutter speed, 1/15 of a second, and then some other details that we'll cover in more detail in digital photography next semester as far as white balance, ISO, and metering. The second box contains the physical dimensions, 267 pixels wide by 200 tall. The whole file weighs 48 kilobytes. The resolution of this image is 180 pixels per inch or dots per inch, and it's in the RGB color mode. So again, those are just details that we'll get to later in this class and in digital photography, but it's kind of fun to be able to go and see for some of these, if they were taken with a camera, what camera it was and when they were taken. This shot was taken in 2008 with a Canon PowerShot, so kind of fun information. And then the last thing that we want to talk about is actually opening a picture in Photoshop, so that will be our next video.